Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
I remember the days, all those years ago that never fade away. And I remember your face when you hit the ground. I can recall the time and place on the midnight walk through the old streets, trying to turn back the clock to the days of old, back to the days when all the things we knew were made of gold. As the world moves on, time sings a song. In the old neighborhood, as the clock strikes one, the memories just stay.
You work for us, we work. FB 1403, 1331, can you bring it to the floor? We drove from Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you to another edition of the Afridamus Report. Happy Memorial Weekend to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about reparation. That's right. Because, this reparation thing have been gaining steam. And then for whatever reason, because, most of you have been hearing about it every, election cycle. Believe it or not, this reparation right here, people have been apparently talking about this for over 160 years. So by now, like the blacks, the people that call themselves FBA now, they should be pros at this, right? But we're about to find out because they've been taking us around and around. At first they came up with ADOS because you see, like here in the United States, a lot of people, especially like a lot of Americans, tend to not have a lot of information about the things that we discuss here. They just go by what mainstream media portrays and put it out there. And of course, that's what people believe. So, the Democrats, what they do is they use the history of the blacks as their ancestors were brought here as slaves, but the blacks themselves are not slaves anymore. This was a slave trade, as much as people don't want to hear this, but they have sales bills on this. It doesn't matter how you, me, and everybody feels about what the transactions were back in those days. These were legally binding documents. Okay? Hey, it was legal for people to bring people across the Atlantic or the Pacific, wherever, to the New World here in America and sell them. There were people who used to do this. They sell people, like they own them as humans, and you can walk them as your machine. Well, they brought a lot of Africans from where we come from. Um, the slave trade was happening. They brought Africans, not just here in America, but in the Caribbean island and other places. So, after being enslaved here for over 253 years, they decided, look, we can no longer enslave, a fellow human being. A lot of people say a lot of factors added onto it. They said it wasn't genuine, but regardless, years later, the people that own humans, whether they were forced or other people saw the light and said, wait a minute, we can't, like, it's not right for another human to own another human being. So at this time, the blacks have been in America for over 253 years in bondage. So they cannot just release them like that, like you were enslaved all this time. People accumulated wealth off of your back. So now that you are free, you have to fend for yourself. So it is only fair to give the blacks, something to start with. So at the time, we had the story about the 40 acres and the mule when some of the blacks fought in the Revolutionary War and uh, also in the Civil. I mean, this was more about the Civil War. So blacks were promised 40 acres and a mule. So they said, but when Abraham Lincoln was killed, um, eventually, like Andrew Jackson, I guess they said Andrew Jackson, when he became president, he reneged on that. So I'm just giving you the history of the reparation. So it means, sure, they promised the blacks 40 acres and a mule. Back in those days, that's a lot of money. Some of you might, will try to laugh at that, but that was money. Don't forget, those people, they were coming from plantations. They are farmers. Okay? There's a whole lot they can do with 40 acres and a mule. You might not know, but they had the knowledge back in those days. But fast forward, it never happened. They reneged. So that's where the history of this reparation came from. So for over 160 years, blacks have been asking for reparation. Came to another generation. So this reparation thing has turned into a political thing. So the Democrats, who were the slaveholders, the slave masters, they fought fiercely to not allow because they saw the blacks as belonging to them. They didn't want to let them go. So they're like, they lost the war, but they're like, we have to still improvise and own them politically, right? So we come right to the 60s when they did like the civil rights march with Martin Luther King. So that's when the blacks were finally sold to the democratic government. So what did they do? They start incentivizing the black community so that the black community can rely on the government, which is why you see, for example, in the black community, who is stronger, who's got the voice, is the woman. The men, like the roles are reversed. So the woman, relies on the government. This is why the women are the staunch supporters of the Democrats. So the Democrats empowered them. You know, they made them the head of the household. I mean, if you look at even Joe Biden and these people, who are they pushing forward? The women. Okay, no shade on the women, but if you any society you want to weaken and infiltrate, you know, put their women in charge. Because they are the weakest link. Once they turn on their men, it's game over. You've conquered them. So that's what the Democrats did. But fast forward to now, in this internet age, the reparation talk came up again. In fact, it was this time around because in the past they used to blame the white man and the white people. But this time around, they flipped it. They flipped it. And now who did they start blaming? Other fellow blacks like myself, Africans. They said, it is because of you Africans, you tethers. You guys are the reason why we are not getting our reparation. And we know you tethers are hiding behind the closed doors, waiting, salvating, waiting for these checks to come. And then you would pop out and be like, I'm black too. You see? So they came up with all kinds of, excuses. So now we're like, oh, okay, so this is how the blacks felt about us this whole time. So now it had to take the promise of money for the blacks' true feelings to come out. So we're like, wait, we're all confused. We're like, but wait a minute. I thought we were supporting the blacks. We were with the blacks on the reparation thing. But the law informed blacks, once they started getting information, they don't understand what the reparation is all about. They thought the reparation, they have finalized it. It's going to be, now they're about to write a check because a charlatan came up, he invented an organization, and then the blacks now identify with it. In fact, let me give you a taste of one of the blacks, their fearless leader. This is for edutainment purposes. Actually, let me do my fair use here. Um, well, I forgot to welcome all of you in today. Please make sure you hit the like if you haven't already done so to show that you are enjoying the program here this evening as I delve deep into, how our cousin the blacks have been railroaded in the California legislature. So we want to let the blacks know we are with them. That's why we're talking about this. Big Mac can say, big surprise, Avidamo's talking about us FBA. All right. Let me do my fair use here. Let's see. Like, so let me show you when the blacks started when they thought they about to get a check, right? So they came up with an organization called ADOS. Two hustlers, race hustlers, they came together, and they came up with their organization. And then this man, I'm going to play this man for you in a second. He was hiding around because he's a grifter. This man have made documentaries talking about, he like he's an African. He even visited Africa. He was promoting Pan Africanism. But now, when he found a new hustle, you know, they came up with ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. So you notice the blacks themselves, they wanted to make it look sexy to be slave again. But the moment us the Africans and the white people call them slave, they get mad. We're like, okay, we'll leave that alone. And then this man came up with a different organization. Here, let's get it from the founder himself.
We tighten the language up by saying, hey, we are foundational Black Americans. We are a specific lineage and ethnic group, and we're supposed to get these resources that are owed to us because we have a specific debt.
Are we talking anything outside of money?
Money first. That's going to be the first thing. When we were enslaved, they made money off our ass. They made billions of dollars off us. They didn't get student loan relief during slavery. They were getting money off of us. They were trading us on Wall Street out here in New York. We were the first capital, so they need to give that capital right back to us. And then we'll talk land grants and all of that stuff too. But let's get those checks going first, the same way they do with Native American tribes. The same way y'all give them money and then tax-free status and then the casinos, then land, let's do it the same way with us.
So you see that is the fierce leader of a group called the FBA. So he came on the internet, he was talking tough like this, and the blacks, they were cheering him. They're like, that's right, Tariq. You tell them like it is. So they started coming up with new words like, we're going to delineate from this. First it was the Africans and the Caribbeans, but then they came up with a new term. They're like, oh, we have to delineate from the debtors, because the debtors want to steal our check. They are the obstacle. Like they have nothing to do with any other black person. But either way, they come on the internet, they talk tough like this, like they are going to make the white man give them the check, right? This is what he's saying. Fine, that's all for entertainment purposes. Now we come to the people that actually have the power to do something about this, because Tariq came here and gave exactly, Vanessa, he told a bunch of lies over here. But this is why the Afrodamus report exists, to break it down. Mr. G 1804, thank you for the super chat. He said, wait until the serious question of reparations check amounts come up. Thousands of millions of FBAs in the cut watching with my popcorn. Exactly. Thank you for the super chat. In fact, they've already asked some of the groups, because the blacks themselves are not united in this. Some of them have asked for trillion. Some have asked for 500 billion, So the Democrats are just going along with the blacks, because what they did in 2020, they got the blacks to vote for their own replacement, which is the Hispanics. So what you're about to see here, you would find out the black card holds no weight anymore. Even Kamala, you guys notice Kamala tried to run with the black card thing. I did a show before, I called it the New Blacks. I was over here questioning Kamala's blackness, because I knew from, many years ago that she was an Indian. But a lot of people are so misinformed here in America. And this is not only the blacks, Americans in general. So when they hear Jamaica, they think everybody there is black. Okay, fine, we get it. She is brown. But not every brown person you see got their brownness from African roots. There are brown Indians. Don't you guys know this? So obviously, Kamala did the generic black thing. They said Kamala even came up with a story in the primaries. um, when Joe Biden, she went against Joe Biden. I don't know if you guys were following. This is what Kamala said. She said that Joe Biden was so racist, right? Because Joe Biden voted against busing because he said he didn't want his kids to, you know, for example, go to school in the jungle, basically referring to blacks as jungle, like take from the Congo, even though most of the blacks try to deny it. But the whites, they know that the blacks are from Congo, okay? Some of them. Anyways, Joe Biden made that reference apparently years ago. So Kamala told the story and said, in fact, when you stop that busing, a little girl was affected by that. And that little girl is me. And then we were like, I was confused. I'm like, I'm watching this. I said, wait a minute. I said, God, I thought this woman was Indian. I I went online, I Googled, I was like, I swear I did follow this woman's career in California. She's always been Indian. But now she is not only saying she is black, she is now affected racially by Joe Biden's policy. And then we did the fact check, we found out she grew up in Canada. Okay? Strike number one. So they're like, okay, all right. They got us there. Okay? Then they came up with a new plot to throw you off the scent of the lie. Because you see, if Kamala's blackness was never questioned, right? If they didn't ask it, they will never, like that would be the story that they would go with. Do you guys remember in 2020 when they were able to convince a whole bunch of people that Trump was racist, he's a Nazi? People were angry. Like, even if one black person says they support Trump, people would ostracize the person. But I've been noticing a shift. The Democrats noticed this too. Towards the end, like in 2020, okay, the Democrats, they were desperate. They just want to win. So they're like, we got to get the blacks to get us to the finish line. We got to get them to the. So they're like, Joe Biden, you are going to pick Kamala. But here's what you're going to say. You are going to pick a black woman. So she presented herself as a black woman, stole a job from a possible real black woman. Okay? A black woman. So Kamala already violated Section 1. Section 1 of the Black Code. What does Section 1 say? No black person that's holding power should be involved in an interracial, union. So the blacks conveniently ignored Kamala's husband as being white, Caucasian. If they were women, if it was the other way around, if Kamala was a man, then it would be a problem. That goes to show you that in the black community, the roles are reversed. The women are the ones that set the standard for their community. They get to tell the men, what would be accepted and what wouldn't. So that's why you didn't hear anyone object to Kamala's husband. Not even Dr. Umar, the Snow Bunny police. Right? So Kamala, obviously, her identity have been getting questioned to a point Donald Trump questioned it. So the long-awaited interview that people have been waiting for. Kamala been running away from the media. So You guys know Trump, he goes everywhere. So they invited Trump to go to the NABJ. That name is funny. The National Black Journalists something. I don't know why the blacks always identify themselves as separate but cry racism. They don't even realize that they promote racism. But that's a whole different topic. So Trump goes to this place. They try to use the black card because a week prior, the internet, the internet have been buzzing. Twitter was on fire. The blacks finally they start waking up. They're like, okay, Kamala, we know you talking that mess, talking about you cook collard greens in a bathtub. But the blacks started saying we've been smelling tandoori chicken and curry. Now all of a sudden, black people know what tandoori is. They know what curry is. They are like, all right, this black conversation, we need to leave this one alone and pretend like this didn't happen. So Trump goes to you know, to this black little union that were pretending to be journalists when in fact they are the democratic foot soldiers, bunch of mammies, as the blacks would say. So they came out swinging at Trump. They asked him one question about Kamala, you know, racial identity. Trump is like, yo, I thought, as far as I knew, she was Indian. Now all of a sudden, she black. That's new. So you would know any black woman, especially if they are high yellow, their blackness is questioned. Look, for example, we have Ant report here, Anthony. Anthony is of the Motisa tribe. His blackness can be questioned. Sometimes we might think he's from Afghanistan or India. But if you tell Anthony that he is not black in public, oh no, he is going to challenge you. He will defend it to the teeth because he is sure of his blackness. He'll be like, look, man, don't think because I'm from the Motisha tribe. No, I got Nigerian in me. And he would defend it. That's what you know black people usually do. But check this out. We have this long awaited interview with Kamala. When she showed up, they asked her this question. Okay? They asked her this question. Let's see how she responds. Here we go.
Black recently for political purposes. Question: you suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any?
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
Wow. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? Imagine like this can happen. If this woman is in charge, they're like, oh, New York City is on fire. Oh, really? Oh, next question. Here.
Poor hubby. Poor hubby.
Nah.
All right. So there you have it. They ask Kamala because now all of a sudden race doesn't matter. These people they want to gaslight us. A minute ago, when they thought she could pull the black card and race would help her, they wanted to talk about it. But the moment they start realizing race is not gonna help her, now look at how she disrespected black people. When they ask her to confirm if she's black, she could have been like, let me let you know, Trump, I am black. My such and such, this is where my blackness came from, you know. She should even do a DNA test because we want to know if her great great grandma is from Nigeria, Congo, or any of these places. We need, but they said no, they don't want to talk about it anymore. But now let us go to reparation in California. So they've been playing the blacks because the blacks want free money. Yes, there, I said it. Because you see, the blacks are the only group that want to come together and think government is going to take money and give it to them. They are only 13% of the population. Okay? The no party is going to risk losing power over reparation for 13% of the population. It's not going to happen. But did that stop the party that you guys are loyal to from playing you? Of all places, California, they pretended that they are going to give reparation. Mind you, California is not even a slave state. Okay? It was in a slave state. So now let us go to Kamala because reparation had came on Kamala's table also. I'm gonna walk you guys all the way to where we are today. So let's hear Kamala have been asked about reparation in the past. Here we go.
Reparations for Black people.
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country.
So in many words, she's gonna give this long drawn out answer, meaning no. I mean, you blacks can't get none of that. You think the black people care about you telling them about Jim Crow and segregation? That's not what the question is. They just want to know about reparation. I mean, I get it. Some of you FBA people don't like when I speak the truth, but you would have to agree with me on that. You see, she wasn't asked about all these things, but watch where this answer is going. This should tell you, this should have told you where she stands. And then she came up with the Asian bill and silly black people running around talking, oh, they should give us protection. Who do you think that Asian bill's protection, who do you think they are protecting who from? Hello? Who do you think that, like that Asian bill, who do you think the Asians are being protected from? I'll wait. I'll give you a hint. Their ancestors came from around Nigeria region, Africa, and sometimes they pretend to be Indians. Yes, those group of people. So nobody's gonna tell you, but I'm just telling you straight up. Put two and two together. She clearly, even if somebody comes and try to lie to you and say, no, hey, check this out, her dad is Jamaican, fine, but you know for a fact she's Indian. And do you know Indians, because India is in Asia, they're classified as Asians. So the bill that is passed, because when you go around New York, other places, let's just call a spade a spade. You got black thugs running around, punching Asians and other people, doing stuff to them. So finally, they got an Asian woman, second in command. The Asians, they put a lot of money behind this. And then you got silly blacks who were begging for reparation thinking, why didn't you do the same thing for us? Hello? Because she is Asian. She is Asian. But you are being played. You're being used to vote against your own self. If you don't believe me, by the time this program is done, you will see it as clear as day. Here we go.
And in particular, black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit.
You see the type of game she's playing? So, in many words, she's letting you know, you blacks ain't getting no reparation. Take your ass to work, and you better pray and make sure you get married, by the way, and get you a girlfriend, something, put your income together, because so you're not gonna get the tax credit, you know, till you make 100,000 or beyond. How many people make 100,000 a year? How many? How many? Exactly. So you're being played.
Which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant.
This is the dumbest thing ever. If anyone is buying this, you are dumb as a rock. What kind of language is even that? How do you even measure how equal people are? Or the footing? All you have to do is just, apply a law that benefits everyone. Do not, oppress people, allow people to pull themselves by their bootstraps. In many words, your destiny is in your own hands. I mean, like, who gets to decide, like, what equal footing is? Who gets to decide that? But here we go.
So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefit.
Did you guys hear that? That's right. I'm not going to do anything that benefits black people alone. So clearly, the reparation, if you pass reparation, it's not going to benefit anybody but black people. So what does she mean by any policy that benefit black people benefit everyone? No. When it comes to black people get played. They get nothing. But let's find out who is, living as a king in this country. I mean, these people you don't even have to, be a US citizen. Like, some of the incentive these people are getting, sometimes I wonder if I should leave and come through the border as an illegal so I can get some of those free checks. Because now they've demarcated the line to let you know. The only people that are going to eat off the table is the people that are coming in illegally. So this is not only affecting black people, it's affecting every American taxpayer. Okay? So, but black people that are fighting for reparation, they don't care about what affects other people. They just want reparation. That's all they want. They forget that they are Americans. So now it is black people and illegal immigrants who are fighting for free stuff. The illegals are represented by the people who the black people voted for. If you don't believe me, watch this. Watch what California passed for the illegal immigrants. And then before we come to the black people, being told no check. They told them in Russian. That's why they look very upset. Here we go.
Illegal immigrants in California now one step closer to receiving state funds that they could use for a down payment on a home. Senior national correspondent William LaJeunesse reports. Hi, William.
Well, Martha, the bill just passed the state Senate. It now goes back to the Assembly, where Democrats have a supermajority, and aides tell me it is likely to pass. The bill.
So did you guys hear this? They proposed a bill so that they can give, few, like down payment to buy a house. And illegal, like you come to America illegal. You broke the law to come here. And now they are passing a bill in California. They're like, hey, come on through, right? We'll put you in a hotel. We'll give you money. Look, in fact, Jose, we will give you money to start a business. So, in fact, the other day, it was nice, hot. I was out there at the park. And this park is a beautiful park. It's mostly white people there. Guess what I saw on the side now? It's some illegal immigrants in the middle of our park. This was white park. Beautiful. They're over there selling fruits. They're selling, like the Hispanic food. Not that I have anything against it, but in the middle of our beautiful park, and those people, they can't even speak English. Those people have not paid taxes for the beautification of that park. You think I want to go to that park and see illegals selling all that illegal snacks and seeing that we, the taxpayers, are funding this? So this is what is happening to FBA. Imagine you are FBA, you hear this. Now you understand why they are acting like the way they are acting. But here we go. Let's hear more about type of benefits that the illegals are getting. In fact, their bill is making it past the Senate, meaning it's picking up steam. Do you know somebody sat down that you, the citizen, voted for, that drafted this, giving a leg up on, like those people? Mind you, imagine those people, your tax money will be taken, like I think $25,000 or something, like $125,000. Like if they want to buy a house, so they give it to them as down payment. So they want to make that law. But in the meantime, reparation, Kamala said, no, we will put it in taxes. You better pray, hope and pray, like work hard. At least you can make 100,000 so you can benefit from the tax break. But for the illegals, they get free money. Here we go.
Makes illegal migrants eligible for $150,000 to buy a new home. Lawmakers created the program so...
My bad. It's $150,000. So now I want to hear FBA come here and be like, oh, it is this African tethers. The African tethers, the musty tethers. Well, you and the tethers both are paying for this, okay? So are you happy now? Here we go.
Citizens and legal residents could afford to live here. But last week, Democrats changed the law to say this. An applicant who meets requirements for the loan assistance program shall not be disqualified solely based on the applicant's immigration.
Guys, do you know how crazy this is? Like, okay, you do not, like, when you come to the United States, you come here legally, you're not getting any of this type of treatment. Like, you show up, they put you up in a house, give you money. I wish they were doing that back when I was coming to America back in those days. Look, even the refugees that they used to bring here, the refugees they bring here, even their ticket, when they pay for it, do you know when they get here, when they get a job, they have to pay for all that back. But now, for these people, they are passing a law. Not only would they get free monthly check, they are going to give them $150,000 down payment if they want to buy a house. That's a sweet deal. What would stop somebody, from like doing some 3 months hardship to come through that border, and then you get free housing? Eventually, they give you $150,000 to put down on a house. Man, you'll be dumb if you don't cross over. But here we go.
Status.
The social and economic benefits of homeownership should be accessible to everyone, regardless of immigration status.
So the program provides first-time buyers with a zero-interest loan up to 20% of the home's purchase price. So that's up to $150,000 cash up front for a down payment and closing costs. This year, this $255 million program sold out in 11 hours, requiring a lottery. 18,000 applied, 2,000 got loans. And when a home sells, the state is repaid with a small percentage of any appreciation. The bill is sponsored by a prominent Latino rights group with close ties to Vice President Harris.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys capture that? Wait till, do you hear, like, the people that are pushing for this, they are super organized. It's a Latino group that have ties to Kamala Harris. So they are very organized. They are getting what they want. When you see your politicians openly voting for things like this against you, know that the power you think you have, you no longer have it. You have been replaced. You have been replaced. Because they know, like, they're trying to get you to get them through the finish line in this election, right? If you make the mistake and push them through, this would be the final nail in the coffin for you. This is it right here. Here we go. DG said, Afridamus, this means we buy for you a house. You be sure you vote for us for life. Exactly, DG. DG, because what it is the Democrats rely on the black people. So the baby boomers, the old blacks, are the ones that vote. Now the younger generation black people are not that loyal to the Democrats. They are sniffing, they are searching around. They are not talking about that civil rights stuff. They didn't grow up with that. Yes, so you would see some of them talk racial stuff, but more and more, they're, it's like they are questioning. You're seeing more and more black people questioning why are they even voting Democrat. So they understand, like, this is going to catch on pretty soon. This is going to catch on. So they open up the border, right, to replace their voting bloc they're about to lose. Let's just call a spade a spade. Because they are bringing these people in. They're giving them housing. They're giving them checks. They're getting them. They're giving them the down payment for the house. Come on, guys, let's be reasonable. If someone, here in America gave you all that, right? You'll be loyal to them for life. So they are building up a new voting bloc because all those people that are going to receive this down payment, who do you think eventually their children and their relatives are going to, vote for? Exactly. You're not gonna, cut the hand that's feeding you. This is being done deliberately. Here we go.
What the rest of the America needs to be worried about is the Kamala Harris-Walz administration taking these crazy California ideas and nationalizing them and taking them to the rest of the country. The country can't afford to buy illegal immigrants' homes.
Well, this bill does have a lot of Democratic support. The question is, does Governor Newsom sign it? If it passes, smart money in Sacramento tells me he does.
So you guys see that, right? All right, now let us go to our FBA. So FBA, they put something together. They took it to the California, how I think they took it to the House, right? But here's the thing. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, did promise the black community reparation. If you guys remember, there were, they even talked about how they're going to start giving reparation to some people who are like, they gotta be at least like 77 years old if they can prove some things. But the reparation activists, they are fighting for a broader, for like a broader population. Okay, so and they want to make sure they get paid, they get a check. But this team that the reparation people think they have, they really don't have it. Because what it is the Democrats only listen to them when they need something from the black, period. So they make black people feel like, okay, we're listening to you, making black people feel like they have so much power. But no, they don't. And you're about to see that here, because if the same thing that black people have been fighting for over 160 years, by now the blacks should have been pros, how to maneuver and be able to get this bill to the governor's office. But they're playing the black people. How are they playing the black people? They make sure this bill doesn't even see the light of day to be even voted on for the governor to sign on it. The governor, I'm pretty sure, gave the instruction that this bill better not go past you guys. Here we go.
Session is wrapping up tonight, and lawmakers are deciding the fate of bills that haven't passed yet. We're just minutes away until the California legislative session comes to a close. Both houses had fewer than 200 bills combined left to go through. Some of the bills dealing with reparations. ABC 10's Garsh Pausanga joining us live from the state capitol to explain more on this very busy day. We still see people behind you in the rotunda there, Garsh Paul.
You guys see? Where's all those fine FBA journalists who have so much energy for Trump? But you see, Jose is the one reporting here. Do you guys see who controls California? You're just getting a taste. Okay? Here we go.
Luke, and this place is buzzing with anticipation to try to figure out what is the status of their bill, and we are officially less than an hour away until we find out what the results are going to be of all the bills that they haven't voted on. If it is passed, it is going to go to the governor's Newsom's office to see if he will sign or not, but if it doesn't, it is going to die on the House floor. So We're trying to figure that out. But the biggest buzz in this building were bills that weren't voted on, like funding reparations. The final hours of the California legislative session kicking into overdrive as lawmakers try to get their bills approved. On Sunday, lawmakers passed landmark bills to make amends for racism. The proposal they approved allows for the return of land or compensation to families whose property was unfairly taken by the government, and an informal apology for laws and practices that harmed black people. But the buzz surrounding the reparation bills package was over what wasn't addressed: direct payments.
We laid the foundation that those bills are critically important to, stand up what reparations would be here in the state of California.
State Senator Stephen Bradford authored SB 1403, aims to establish the California American Freedmen Affairs Agency, while SB 1331 funds reparations. Both were not voted on.
We should have gotten it to the governors.
Look at the blacks praying to white Jesus. All of a sudden they went plantation on the white man. Okay? So you're seeing it. They made it all the way, almost at the touchdown. They started crawling. Did I not tell you guys? When the blacks come face to face with white zaddy, they always crumble. This was perfect. They brought it all the way. Look, you should. Here's the thing. This is why the type of rhetoric that these ADOS and FBA, your so-called leaders, are putting out there, is not helping the blacks. You should be collaborating with people like myself here to give you the strategy on how to go about this. Because at the end of the day, I am very pissed off over here to see that illegal immigrants can come here and get $150,000 down payment when the blacks have been fighting for their rightful money in this country. They cannot get it. Adi said, these blacks got hoodwinked. Look, I didn't want to say it, but you said it. Yeah. That's the entire story. That's bottom line. That's what it is. The governor played the blacks. Governor Newsom and Kamala, and even this black senator, state senator, you know what they say? Not all skin folks are kin folks. Those of you that are shouting, did you even read this? Mark said, if I didn't know better, I'd think Afrodamus is on our side. Marking, whose side do you think I'm on? Whose side do you think I'm on? You think I'm on the side of the illegal immigrants getting the money? Come on, man. I'm trying to give you game over here to show you how, like, the governor and even all these black senators you see, they played you, man. These politicians will never give you free money. I mean, like, what's in it for them to give you free money? But you see, giving that free money to the illegals they are bringing in, those are the new generation voters. This is why they are being, come on, this is not rocket science. Why do you think they are being distributed in Chicago, New York, and all these other places? And guess what? You can't even stop them because a lot of people got so comfortable in this project housing. These housings are built by the government. You can tell the government who they can or cannot bring, to their own apartment complex. The place called the hood, you living in a project. That's why when people see people like Jay-Z, they're like, man, you got to come back to the project and improve it. The project belongs to the government. You are not supposed to continue living there. If you're smart, once you save enough money, you got to bounce. Because this is the type of bullshit they're going to bring your way. People in Chicago thought the government was on their side. They thought Brandon Johnson was on their side. But can you blame Brandon Johnson? Before you elected him, did you listen to him? I heard him. I heard what he said, and he is doing exactly what he said he's doing. Joe Biden, you can call him a liar because he said he was going to open the border. Kamala, the same thing. Look, it is not hateful if you don't want the border, if you want the border wall to be built. It doesn't mean you're racist, man. This is what you need to know. Okay? But you see now what they did? They allowed all these millions of people to come in. This is what they wanted. Exactly. Now, look at citizens, black people, who have been here for hundreds of years. Now, their bill have to compete with non-citizens. And guess who wins? The non-citizens. Here we go.
He never signaled he would veto the bill. He just said he had some concerns, as they have with many bills. So, but that doesn't mean you don't move forward with the bills, because, you can fix them.
You see? Do you hear this man? Do you hear this man? How can you guys sit there and blame the white man? Did you hear what this man said? He black. He was sent there by black people. What the hell do you mean by the bill wasn't, we got to check it again? Sir, this is not like this reparation bill. This is not a new thing. But black people don't want to hear this. They want to shout and shout. You're not listening to what this man is saying. You're not listening. He is not for you. He's just giving you word salad. He's playing you, dragging you along. And he's not going to do anything for you. He's pimping you. Look, even Tariq is doing way more than this guy. I hate to tell you. At least he entertains you. Not this man.
California Legislative Black Caucus pulled the bill because it said the proposal needs more work.
The bills that pass are not reparations. An apology is not reparations.
Chris Lodgeson, a reparation activist with Coalition for Just and Equitable.
Look, they sent the blacks apology letter. You see? I knew it. Why would you put your faith in these people, man? What's wrong with you? What makes you think they're going to give you free money? These people don't they gave the blacks apology letter. They said they don't want no damn apology. We want apology with a check.
California.
The only bills today that even had a chance of being called reparations or could even get us to reparations.
Hey, look, do you see how happy the blacks are? Even O'Shea flew in from Uganda. You see O'Shea right here? O'Shea came to stand for his people. Do you see how disappointed Professor Lumumba is over here? And then they got their Becky's over here. Why do all of them here look so mad? Brother got his dashiki from hey, I'm not laughing at him. Just so you guys know, I am just so very upset to a point all I can do is laugh. He got his Kente sweater, from the flea market down the street just for this occasion, just for the white people to disrespect them like this. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. Here we go.
Are the bills that did not pass. It's one thing if we go out for a vote and we lose. Oh, all right. It's one thing if we go out for a vote, we win, and it gets to the governor's desk, and the governor vetoes it.
Supporters of the
brother, the governor doesn't want it to get to his desk, because that means if that makes it to his desk, that promise he made, he cannot get out of it. He cannot allow this to go past it. So I don't know why you think the governor, is not in on this. He is in on it.
Reparations say they're not giving up despite the setback.
It has to happen if we're going to have meaningful reparations to the people who deserve it. We're 160 years overdue for this.
So you see it. So the blacks are not getting it. And then, I mean, they brought some of their church ladies to come and yell at the white people, maybe hopefully shame them. Let's see how that went. Man, that was weak. I mean, that yelling from those FBA women was weak. Okay? Let me show you this other one here.
Capitol witnessed protests after reparations bills SB 1331 and SB 1403 failed. The bills aimed to address racial disparities, but were shelved due to concerns about potential vetoes. Senator Stephen Bradford's proposed Senate Bill 1331.
So, for 160 years, they keep telling blacks they are just studying reparations, studying it. Like, what the hell you studying over there? Like, at this point, what do you not understand? So you guys are seeing it right here. This guy, he's black. Yeah, okay. He represents black people. So how can you say it is white people's fault or the Africans? I brought this exclusively so you guys see it. And I know some of them are going to try to lie and accuse this man of being a tether. We already did the background check. He is not. So here we go.
Sought to create a fund for reparations, while Senate Bill 1403 aimed to establish an oversight agency.
And the link is in the chat too. If you want to join the conversation, feel free to come in and, give your 2 cents. Here we go.
The California Legislative Black Caucus decided to pull the reparations bills. Citing the need for additional revisions, protesters gathered at the Capitol, accusing lawmakers of betrayal for not voting on the reparations bills. Assemblymember Isaac Bryan supported the bills, but criticized the Black Caucus for their handling, stating the bill's failure was partly due to fears of a gubernatorial veto. The California Legislative Black Caucus mentioned they had only recently become aware of concerns regarding SB 1403, resulting in the decision to delay its consideration until the next session. The budget signed by Governor Newsom in June included funds for reparations, but did not specify their use. Critics suggest this lack of detail has contributed to the bill's lack of progress. Protesters at the Capitol emphasized that Black Americans deserve reparations due to historical injustices, urging lawmakers to fulfill their promises. The legislative failure to advance the reparations bills has sparked discussions about the effectiveness of current racial justice measures. Assemblymember Isaac Bryan's support for the reparations bills highlights a rift within the legislature, with disagreements on how best to address racial inequities. The debate over reparations in California reflects broader national discussions about race, historical injustice, and the role of government in addressing systemic inequalities and making reparative efforts.
Did you guys see that? So the blacks are disappointed. California governor played them, pretended like he was on their side, and then just flipped the switch out. The link is in the chat. Feel free to join me. Hold on, let me read some of these comments here. If you haven't already hit the like, please do. Here we go. 1804, thank you for the super chat again. He said, do the imprisoned FBAs get a check too? Yes, they will have to. I mean, they are FBA just because they went to prison. But you see, since Tariq, the leader, tried to say, now all of a sudden the blacks don't go to prison. So, a lot of the citizens are out here, they're going to get their checks. Let's see. He said 150K for house and 15 to 20K for federal debit and e-bike. Man, that's crazy. So, guys, you guys seeing it? That's where we are with the reparation. Clearly, it's not Africans that are stopping them. And said, I'll give them credit for trying rather than talking like Tariq. Why wasn't he here? And that's a good question. He said, Afridamus, is this funny? Man, you have to hit the link. I don't know. You tell me if it's funny. Okay? You don't think it's funny for the blacks to keep blaming other black people, for us to just come to find out, is their own elected officials, their own people that they put in charge are the ones, in fact, doing this against them. Right? So it was predictable, and hopefully, the blacks will wake up, maybe vote for Trump, and save the rest of your identity that you have left, and hopefully the country would do so well, and you would eventually get your reparation. Marking said, who's blaming Africans for not getting reparation? Tariq, your leaders. Go check it out. Your leaders are trying to blame, African people and the Caribbean. Apparently, he calls us the debtors. Where have you been? You haven't been aware of what your fierce leader, Tariq Nasheed, have been calling people? Okay, here we go. Ant report. Welcome to the Afridamus report.
What's up, man? What's up, man? No, I was asking if it was funny because you look like you enjoying yourself.
Wait. I knew you would accuse me of enjoying this.
You look like you're having too much fun, man. Bro, they look hopeless, man. I feel bad, but I
saw you right there. You said Afridamus like it. They look hopeless.
Yeah, because you look at the dude's faces, yo. And it's kind of sad and funny at the same time. But I'll give them credit for going at least.
But
yeah.
Don't you think it's dumb? Like, okay, aren't they like reading and seeing what is happening right in front of their eyes?
Wait, what you said? They're reading and seeing what's happening?
I said, do these guys want to tell us that they are not seeing what their elected representatives are doing?
No, but that's the thing. That's why I'm saying, like, I think they are seeing it now. Like, when you look at their faces in there, it looks like they're getting that reality check. Like, yo, like, they really not trying to give us nothing. Like, and that's why I said it's kind of sad, but it's like, you should have knew that already. Like, that's, you're not organized.
Yeah. You're right. In that photo, they do genuinely look disappointed. Like, it's like they got stabbed in their heart,
Yeah, it's like they look like just completely stuck. Like, yo, really? Like, what's going on? Like, the women, of course, they're a little bit more vocal, but the dudes just look like, bruh, how is this happening?
Well, the women think they can just shout and shame those elected officials, like not realizing like those people are used to that. They don't care.
I mean, I blame people like Tariq for this type of stuff, and that's why I asked why wasn't he there, because he created a lot of these movements.
Because Tariq exists on the internet. Why would he want to leave his comfort zone to go to a place about something that he knows is not gonna, he knows the answer. Tariq is not dumb. He knows what it is. So he just wants to continue, his tether wars. I'm sure this is going to make some, like, at least, he would entertain the blacks. They're not going to get their checks, but they can blame the tethers You know, so
Right, because it kind of reminds me of that situation where that Connie Collins chick went down to that in LA, went down to that radio station, and again, you know, Tariq wasn't there, right? Like rallying these people up, getting their emotions, and they go out on the streets, and he sits back in his mansion and just be like, "Oh man, y'all y'all doing good work," and all these dudes is in the city hall or whatever, and they just, like I said, it looked like they saw a ghost.
and he lives in California too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where he lives. You know, and I bet you those people who are right there at the front line, those people are not getting donation like Tariq is getting, but they're the ones out there pushing
Yeah, that's
for
what I'm
this.
saying. I could respect them for doing that. Like, I'm not trying to like crap on them and say, "Oh, why you out there?" Like, I get it, but it's like you got motivated by people, on the internet. You know what I'm saying? The FBA movement, it really, just really exists on the internet. And then when they go out there, I think even the politicians are a little bit shocked. Like, wait, who's this group? like, like y'all really want me to do something? Y'all ain't want me to do nothing all this time, but what's going on?
Man, bro even went to the flea market. He got his kente sweater.
Which is crazy, right? Because it's like you there representing freedmen, quote unquote FBA, but you're wearing like African clothing, not realizing, that group is anti-African. A lot of it is anti-African. So that's
Well, I mean, like they flip flop. I mean, like if they ask him, because you cannot, there's no way you can claim reparation and separate yourself from Kente, the history. You see?
right.
So that's how you know it's not like even the white people are like, man, these people can't be serious. You don't think they listen to the internet? They listen to these conversations. Like, okay, the blacks are allowing themselves to get dribbled, but by Tariq and Yvette. I mean, the politicians, this is their game. They're not getting anything from the blacks other than votes. Now they got a new voting bloc. Anthony, you should be able to pass as Jose and get, some of that free money.
I might do that. That's what I was saying. I might have to go to Mexico, cross the border into Cali, give them a fake name.
You will get caught so fast, your head would spin.
Nah, I'm good, man.
You don't know Spanish.
Hablo español. What are you talking about? Come on now.
Plus you wouldn't be able to. Man, they would take your fingerprints and they will find out right away.
I'll tell them I'm from Belize.
Yeah,
I'm from Belize. They speak English.
Well, you're the wrong type of immigrant.
Nah, honestly, I think people in Cali, a lot of people been saying it. It's a wrap for black FBA out there, man. Like they got a better chance of moving to Texas or Georgia or something if they want to get something like that passed.
But FBA, they keep fleeing though. They've been fleeing since the 1940s. I mean, they've become the freedman troops, man. What's going on here? I gotta do a show,
man.
I gotta do a show on the FBA.
My father fled the South, man.
You see?
Yeah. I say the same thing. They did flee. They try to say it's not fleeing, but it is fleeing.
No, they fled. They fled.
Yeah, because you could say, "Oh, well, it's the same country," but it almost wasn't. You know what I mean? It was a civil war. It was about to be a whole different country, and you fled for better opportunities, and you were, escaping terrorism, quote unquote. So you fled.
Yeah, but they want to call Somalians freedmen when they fled too.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm like, okay, you guys fled the South, but then you also fled to Liberia. You're fleeing to Ghana today, in Kenya and Ethiopia.
And Gambia, even Gambia.
Gambia.
Yeah, the blacks are fleeing.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Well,
O'Shea live in Uganda now? Oh, yeah, and then Thailand, they're going over there in Thailand for the lady boys, and the Philippines and Colombia, all over the place. FBA is over there, man. So,
yeah. I mean, some of them are disappointed because they were going to take that check money and go tricking over there in the field.
I mean, hey, these dudes might not have jobs.
Mackin is trying to take your FBA card away. Nah, trust me, Anthony is
Look, man, they
he
keep trying to
is.
tell me I'm Jamaican now, man. They trying to push me somewhere else. Nah, man, my dad, man, he from Alabama, man. Like, yo, my dad is freedman, you know. I don't use the FBA, yo. It's
Man,
freedman.
that brother in that Kente sweater, man, he looks so disappointed. He was planning his trips already.
Yo, I see this a lot. I'm gonna be honest. I see this a lot with the people that are trying to fight for reparations. It's a lot of the Gen X and millennials because like people that are from like my father's generation, like the boomers, they don't care nothing about no reparations, man.
Because
These
they
dudes,
retired, they make
yeah, they went
yeah.
and made their money. They worked.
Mhm.
They was in way worse conditions. You know, they grew up in segregation, bro. Like, and you know, they had way less opportunities and made a way. But now you got every opportunity in the world, and you talking about reparations. I think
Wow.
the majority of the people, these are these freaknik generations, you know, these dudes that were partying and doing all that stuff in Atlanta, having all the baby mamas, and now that they broke, now that they almost 50 or in their 50s and they're broke, they're like, wait, hold up, I'm
So
trying to
this
get
is
some money.
yeah, because the way when they ask, like they're not thinking about the next generation. They say cut the check now.
You saw the video with the older guy, and he's like, where's the money?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he almost
It's,
was like he felt so
you could
disappointed.
tell he
He's like,
don't got a you could tell he don't got a retirement though. You could just tell by the pain in his voice like he didn't plan for retirement. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. Like these dudes don't have no retirement. They don't have no career. You know what I'm saying? They still dressing like the people, you know, in the streets.
in the church.
Yeah, I mean, not even in the church, man. These dudes gave up on religion. It's like, I don't know, man. I always say that Gen X generation is like one of the sorriest
So what do you
FBA
think?
generations.
What do you think about Kamala skipping the question about race? She was gonna use the race card, but like now she wanna walk away from the race card.
I'm gonna be honest. I think she doesn't. I honestly question her father's lineage. Like he might be,
He's not
maybe he.
black. His father
Yeah, I don't
never
think he's
claimed black.
black. I
I
think
think
at
he's
most maybe half, maybe. But
Hindu
I don't.
and Irish.
That's what they're saying. So I think, so she might not want to say black for like the. She doesn't want the Indian American community to hear her say she's black. I think that has a lot to do with it too. Because even Vivek Ramaswamy, he was on the Breakfast Club and he was like that the Indian American community don't really rock with her. So I'm like, that's interesting. And then she gets asked about the black question and she skips it. It's like,
Like people sometimes forget, like they think it's only when they think about like interracial mixture, they think it's only between black and white. But some like the father is white and Indian. He's
right.
mixed.
Well, a lot of people don't, a lot of FBAs don't understand there's Indians in Jamaica. You know what I mean? Like, matter of fact, and if you've been to Montego Bay, all like damn near all the stores on that strip, the hip strip, are owned by Indians. You know what I mean? So there's Indians there, and sometimes they mix with, the black Jamaicans there. That happens sometimes, but for the most part, nah. But yeah,
Well,
a lot of people don't know that. Even in like
well,
Guyana, there's a lot of Indians over there, in Trinidad, so yeah.
hopefully, FBA, can take this lightly. I'm very sad for them. We will see what type of package we as Africans would put together for them. Um, uh,
Let me
see,
ask you something, man. So what's your plan? You're a Gambian living in America. I'm assuming you're staying here, right? So you're gonna have a family here. What you gonna what are you gonna tell your sons, right? They're gonna say, hey, stay away from them freedmen, or what you gonna do? You gonna try to breed into the whiteness and
I already got a son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I tell him, I said, man, you better stay away from trouble.
My son said he's talking to a Nigerian woman. I said, nah.
He like one time he showed up, sagging his pants. I said, now you want to be like the blacks?
Oh, so you wanted that? He came home with a do-rag on?
No, he doesn't do that. He's half breed.
Oh, so he have white or he have what?
Indian.
A lie.
Yeah.
You're lying, man. Indian, like Kamala.
Yeah, like Kamala. That's
I
how
don't
I'm.
know, man.
That's why I'm expert in these Indians. Oh yeah.
Nah, I doubt it. But the Indian women, they only mess with Indians or white men.
Look,
They don't
that's
be the.
why or special kind of African people.
All right, if you say so, man. All right.
That's right.
Your little Kamala.
You see, Kamala got her a white man. I wonder what Dr. Umar says about that.
You know Umar. He like white women, man. It's clear as day. We all saw him in the mall. You know what I mean? He can't hide it.
Oh, he was just saying hello. That's what he said.
He got caught, and he tried to call her like what did he call her? He tried to like make her sound more foreign, like he was like Albanian, whatever she was. I forgot what she was, but some Eastern European or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, Dr. Umar got caught in that video.
Yeah, he got caught.
You see, Anthony Mackin is trying to take your black card.
Mackin, hit the link, man. Nobody want to hit the link.
He wants you to recite the black national anthem.
Yo, that's the thing. Like him and like people like Tariq. Tariq blocked me on Twitter because I called him out because he tried to say that Drake wasn't FBA because he was born in Canada.
But Drake's father, isn't he from like Tennessee?
He's from Memphis, yeah. So I said that don't make no sense. So
yeah.
So he's not FBA because he was born in Canada, but somebody, let's say for example, like Andrew Tate, he's FBA because he was born here, but he was raised in the UK. And then when people said, "Oh, well, what about J. Cole? Because he was born in Germany," he's like, "Nah, because he was born on a base." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's still in Germany."
Yeah, but Drake's father is Black American.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I know that FBA isn't really a lineage. It's like a gang
No,
at this point.
FBA is like who you like, because even like the tether, right? You see how they play with it.
Yeah,
they change the meaning, like because when you bring up the fact, you say, okay, Farrakhan is a tether or Malcolm. No. The meaning changes. Like the tether is the ones that come here and join our cool class and undermine us. But this video that I just played in California, that senator, is he a tether?
No, all you got to do is play the song that he just made with the woman saying, "Oh, I got in my Uber and it was a dusty."
Oh, the musty tether.
It's like what the dude do to you? He just trying to make some money, but he's a tether. He's dusty and musty, and he's a tether.
Yeah.
So
I don't. That's the thing. But Kamala is telling the blacks to go get a job. Okay, so yeah, he's letting the blacks know, man, you gotta go get a job and pray that you make $100,000. Okay, if you want.
When he said tether in the beginning, I was thinking, okay, Kamala would fit the definition of what I thought tether meant. You know what I mean? Like, I would agree to that. But yeah, if you disagree, like I said, you're a tether if you disagree.
But they're not gonna call Kamala a tether. She's a light skin, AKA. Okay, so
oh yeah. If
they're not gonna call her that. And they said she went to HBCU. That's fine, but Rachel Dolezal went to HBCU.
And you got people like Yvette Carnell, who is almost half white. She's not a tether, right? But Candace Owens is a tether, even though I think her dad is Black American. One of her parents is Black American, but she's a tether though.
Who? Yvette?
Nah, Candace Owens. Her one of her dad.
Look, if somebody's born here in America, you're an American. Look at Kamala. Both of her parents are not even from here. She is close to being president. Okay, look at Obama. Obama's daddy, they say he from Kenya. So what is the blacks talking about? And Richard Dolezal is FBA. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, Rock Newman. Rock Newman is FBA.
Oh yeah. What's his name?
No,
Sean King.
Yeah. Malcolm X.
Yeah. Oh, look at Macking. You see, Macking said, this is why we don't let half FBA represent us Afridamas. This guy is a prime example. Are you kidding me? Like, you literally got white people represent you when you talk about Anthony over here.
Well, it's funny because they say that, right? But then they try to take all of our wins as mixed people, right? They try to take the Supreme Court justice.
Usually
our wins.
It's the light ones that do inventions too.
Yeah, we're the ones who, the W.E.B. Du Boises, the ones who fought.
Frederick Douglass.
Yeah, Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington. They try to take our wins as mixed people, but then if we say something they don't like, oh, you ain't FBA, you ain't black, you know what I mean?
But isn't Trump technically a tethered too?
Who, Trump?
Yeah, because his parents came from Europe.
Well, I think it's reserved for people who could blend into the Black American community. So that's why they don't, and it's not reserved for
so it's only against blacks, other blacks.
Well, yeah, because you could blend in, you know what I'm saying? Like you could go to Jamaica and say you're a Jamaican. Nobody gonna say you're not.
Yeah.
I thought you were Jamaican, honestly, but
oh, so it's about who can blend in.
If you could blend in and represent that group, and then undermine them, that's what I thought it was. Like that's what the tether is. You know what I mean? Like if I went to Dominican Republic and pretended to be Dominican and got into politics and started saying, nah, man, y'all don't deserve no reparations. You know what I mean? Like, I'm Dominican too. I was born here. You know what I mean? It's like I look like y'all, but I don't. My lineage isn't from there though. It's like
Man, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. But Anthony, thanks for coming, man. I'm gonna have to analyze Tariq's Tether album.
Yo, just do a show on his website. He got a whole FBA website, and I'm sure you can pull some information from there on who's FBA and who's not. You know what I mean?
I'll have to do
that.
Thank you for coming. Okay.
All right, peace.
Thank you, guys. That was Anthony. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of the Afridamus Report. I hope to see you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.
Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you. Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you. Big flex, my swole up, double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like